We are live here at the Saline Depot Museum. It's it's a celebration of Independence Day, but it's
really.
Also, I know, I'm just taking a look at the flyer,
Yeah.
but it's also a celebration of the arrival of the first train
To Saline.
in Saline. Can you tell us when that was, Bob?
It was July 4th, 1870.
All right, and it was actually right here, or was it across the...
Right here.
It was right here in Saline at the corner of Lewis and Bennett, basically. And we're with Bob Lane, if I haven't already said it. Bob, what was the name of the company?
Troy Hillsdale and Indiana Railroad.
And how did Saline get a stop on this railroad?
Well, in 1866, they became a village. Otherwise, they were Saline Township. And they annexed this property here, which would have been Lodi Township.
Yep.
And probably maybe another township, Pittsfield Township. And they knew they wanted to get the railroad.
Yeah.
And so
Hey, let's walk up to the porch here, so get you in the shade a little bit. All right, and you were saying they do what?
well, they wanted to get a railroad. They were the only town in Washington County that did not have railroad service.
Yes.
And all the others, Dexter, Chelsea, of course, Ann Arbor and Wyandotte, or Ypsilanti, and Manchester, all had railroad railroad service. Saline did not. My own opinion was they were kind of angry about that.
Yes.
They thought they were being neglected. And I think maybe one reason they picked July 4th for the first train to come here to Saline, to make an emphasis
On how important it was?
Yeah, how important it was.
So the first, where did the train come from?
Came from Ypsilanti.
All right, and what kinds of things would have been on that train? Was it a passenger train?
Passenger train. About 800 people were on it, the first
Yeah.
passenger train. Yeah, it was a passenger train. That was very important, and freight too would come with it. But the big thing was passenger service.
Okay.
And there's a painting inside here that shows the first, when the first train came here, there was about, I estimate, 7,000 people were here.
Yes.
And they were out here gathered in front of the depot. And they all marched up to, is that right? That may be another bit.
Okay.
But what were they celebrating then? Any rate, there were a lot of people gathered here to celebrate the first train arriving.
Did Saline, was that the railway that Saline Township invested in? Wasn't there a railroad that...
There was another railroad.
Okay.
That came from, I think, Adrian. And that tracks ran through Saline Township, but it never came to Saline.
Okay.
It went to, I think it went to Ypsilanti eventually. But, Saline just was neglected in the Washington County.
Do you have any idea how long that train ride would have taken from Ypsilanti to Saline?
I think about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it was a steam engine with a big cone on it.
Yes.
And, there's...
Let's go take a look at that picture if you can.
Sure. Pointer stick.
Ah.
But this painting was done last year by a lady from, she was a professional painter. We hired her to try to paint the arrival of the first train. As we know, nobody was there to take a picture.
Right.
It could have been Miss Gillette, who she put here in a yellow or a blue dress, who was Saline's photographer. But, we haven't. If she was here, she probably took a picture. But there's no evidence of it for sure. And the engine here was like this. This is kind of model of an engine at the Henry Ford Museum.
Yes.
It had a big towering cone-shaped stack, which is to keep the sparks and smoke off people in the passenger cars. One of the strangest things they did was this. I need my pointer. Just pause it a second.
Oh, I can't pause it. We're live.
Okay, well,
but that's
right.
okay.
Okay.
We're...
There's something over here. This flower thing. See that thing in the background?
Yes.
Well, they built that over the track. It was an arch made of like flowers. I think it was like a rose bowl thing.
In celebration of the...
Yeah, they built that in celebration of the event.
Wow.
Didn't have to do that. But I thought that's peculiar.
And around here, this was 1870. There wasn't much around this railroad track, was there?
No, I don't think there was, not then. They had annexed the property from, I think this was Lodi Township.
Right.
Most people mean the city of Saline, or the village, was not a village or a city, it was just part of Saline Township.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they had to become a village.
Yeah.
So they could incorporate these other areas around
Right.
Saline. So you're in the station agent's room.
How long did this railroad exist as an operating railroad, do you know?
Till about 1981.
Wow. I didn't realize it would have went that long.
You did, and other things that got taken over by the, not taken over exactly, but the LS and MS Railroad, which is that we put the sign on the depot. LS and MS stands for Lakeshore and Michigan Southern.
Okay.
And they came in and they operated the track.
Yes.
Yeah. And now they're one of the biggest railroads in the United States, kind of forgotten, but they're owned by a man named Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Okay. I don't know him, but I know the name because I played the Railroad Tycoon game.
Very wealthy guy. He also owned the New York Central.
Uh-huh.
Around 1915, 16, or 17, he decided just to get rid of the LS and MS name, and everything became New York Central Railroad.
Okay.
So that was the railroad that was here until 1981. Somewhere along the line, the Ann Arbor Railroad, they wanted to build a bridge over US 23.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, the resistance against that. They had to raise the money to do that. I'm trying to remember that. And then a story I hear, because they had the money all set up to build a bridge over US 23. Otherwise, the train crossed the tracks, on live freeway traffic. And then somebody came along and canceled it. So the railroad was cut off from Ypsilanti.
Mm-hmm.
No longer go there. And so it was taken over by the Ann Arbor Railroad, which runs north and south to Ann Arbor. And then it continued along until 1981. They're still moving freight.
Yep. Ann Arbor still exists, right? They're the ones
Still
who
exists, yeah.
park the train,
That's right.
the cars on the rail.
They do, yeah, sometimes. But around 1981, that's the thing about the bridge over. Well, anyway, that's when it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever mayor of Saline or in charge of Saline back then, in 1981, said, "Well, we don't want the railroad coming in here," so they tore up the track over Ann Arbor, on Harris Street.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no more railroad service. So officially, that's when it stopped.
Yeah.
Coming here to Saline.
When you look at a day like that, how big of a day do you think that was for the area, for
Some
Saline?
people, the newspaper, Saline didn't have a newspaper, but it came from Ypsilanti. One of the Ypsilanti papers talked about it. I estimate, about 7,000 people were here.
7,000 people to celebrate the first train.
Yeah.
Wow. Must have been a huge day for.
Big day for Saline.
I wonder if there's a day that compares to that in the last, in terms of civic celebration.
Something that comes to your town or city that is really unique.
Mm-hmm.
I think of like for transportation, like at the airport.
Right.
Something like
But even things like cars, it's one car to serve one family. It's not the same. It doesn't have the same civic importance as something that could potentially serve everybody back then.
Well, it's like having transportation. Now, the thing was that you could go anywhere in the United States.
From here.
From here.
Mm-hmm.
And you connect with railroads in Detroit, and going east or going west to
yes.
I guess Hillsdale, and then connect to St. Louis or Chicago.
When you look at, obviously, Hillsdale, is that where it went? Is that the next stop?
That was the end of the line.
The end of the line.
Well, there's a little map over here.
Yeah.
And shows where the railroad went from Ypsilanti to Hillsdale. Now, all these towns along here didn't have a railroad service. So they were, wow, we're happy to get it. And then it stopped. Well, Bankers was a roundhouse for servicing the engines.
Yeah.
And so I went from Ypsilanti basically to Hillsdale.
So once you got to Hillsdale, was that the end of the line? Anywhere else to go from there?
Well, no, but
By-
it had
by
other
another-
connecting railroads.
Right.
You can see New York Central on there. Shows
Okay.
it. And there are other railroads. Some of these Fort Wayne and Jackson Railroad connected at Bankers, and there's some other. Basically, well, this is the time period for this is probably early 20th century.
So who would have managed the depot here back then?
Well, but a man called the station agent. Mm-hmm. And one guy, we have a picture of him over here. Oh, there's him, down our snow shovel. Frank Rose,
Frank Rose.
station agent at Saline Depot.
Wow.
Important guy. He was on the Saline High School board,
Wow.
president.
Mm-hmm.
He is,
Who's this here?
I think that is an important guy. It could be Risden.
Oh, you think so? Yep. Looks like it could be.
Yes.
And you got some of these old-fashioned. What's this? Is this a telegraph?
Telegraph receiver. Yep. All important things, and there's a telegraph here key to type out your messages.
Mm-hmm.
Very important because of the dangers of the wrong train getting on the track.
How about the economics of this place and what it did for Saline?
Well, it's a great thing. They could ship. Well, I'm told that Saline became the most busy depot in southeastern Michigan for shipping sheep.
Really?
Yep. And Washtenaw County was known for raising sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Big back then, and a lot of them came through Saline. So that was a big deal. To Detroit or whatever areas, they could do it much more easier.
How long do you think this place stayed vital to Saline? Like the depot. Do you remember when the depot might have closed?
In 1981.
Oh, so the depot.
I think I got it right here. This guy here, I think, was the last station agent. So I think it was 1961.
1961.
Yeah. As an active railroad, it stopped.
Yeah.
But it's still, things still happen on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes offhand, I can't quite remember. I met this guy. Mm-hmm. He was an older man. That's his car there in the picture.
So I saw you post a picture on Facebook, I think it was, of the Mercantile. Where was that? Was that across the street?
Across the street. You look through there, you look beyond the tent, you see that building there, kind of burgundy colored.
Yeah, it looks like a.
That's the only remaining part of it.
It looks like a. What do you call it? It looks like this in a lot of ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a one-story building.
Yep.
But it was, here's a picture of it here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was showing.
A lot of these pictures, didn't they used to be at the grocery store at Country?
I think
Country
they
Market?
were, yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne Clements got them, picked them up. Some of them, the quality isn't that good.
Still,
But they're good to have.
they evoke a lot of
Yeah.
shots and memories. Well, I don't know about memories, but.
That's a Saline Exchange, a hotel.
Mm-hmm. Where was that?
That was where the restaurant there today, across from the cemetery, north of the cemetery.
Oh yeah. So the pancake place.
The pancake, yeah. Well, it was right
City
about
limits. Yeah.
there. Yeah, so that was a place to stop.
Well, on the other side of that thing would have been Barnegat, right? On the other side of that
Yeah,
bridge.
Barnegat was a little bit further down.
Yeah.
So that was
All right. So how often do you come here and host the guests on weekends?
well, it's open once a week, and usually a couple other people are guides here. So we're open from now it's 10 to 2 p.m., 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Awesome. I appreciate your time, Bob.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. So this will be up on Facebook and YouTube.